Europe's aviation sector is already taking a hit. Lufthansa has announced it will cancel 20,000 flights between May and October, not due to lack of demand, but to save fuel. The airline says jet fuel prices have doubled since the Iran war began, forcing it to cut short-haul routes and scale back operations. This is one of the biggest flight reductions in recent years, and it's only the beginning.
In total, 20,000 short-haul flights will be removed from the schedule through October, equivalent to approximately 40,000 metric tons of jet fuel, the price of which has doubled since the outbreak of the Iran conflict.
The trigger lies thousands of kilometers away. The ongoing Iran conflict has led to the effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical energy corridors. A significant portion of global oil and refined fuel shipments pass through this narrow route. With flows disrupted, jet fuel supplies have tightened and prices have surged globally. Europe is particularly exposed to this disruption. The continent imports a large share of its jet fuel, with a substantial portion linked to supply chains passing through Hormuz. As shipments slow down, the aviation sector is now facing a dual crisis: soaring prices and shrinking supply. What began as a cost problem is quickly turning into a supply shock.
We have before us the possibility, and I stress the word possibility, of a shortage in transport fuel. This evolving geopolitical crisis in the Middle East has highlighted that Europe may have a short-term issue in supply of fuel, okay? And this we need to discuss. For this we need to be aware. But we also have in the midterm, the middle term and the long term, a demand issue. And this needs to be neutralized. To be clear, what I want to say is that we need to be ready to avoid queues at the gas stations if this ever happens.
Warnings are now getting more serious. The International Energy Agency has indicated Europe could have as little as 6 weeks of jet fuel supply under worst-case scenarios. Even though some governments estimate longer reserves, the uncertainty itself is enough to trigger preemptive cuts, like those already announced by airlines. The system is now operating under pressure and precaution. The impact is spreading beyond one airline. Carriers across Europe and Asia are cutting routes, raising ticket prices, and preparing for further disruptions. Air travel, already a low-margin business, cannot absorb fuel costs at this scale. As a result, passengers are likely to face fewer flights, higher fares, and reduced connectivity in the coming months. This is no longer just an aviation story. It's an energy and economic warning. EU officials are now discussing emergency measures, including fuel sharing and alternative imports to keep transport systems running. But if the Strait of Hormuz remains blocked, the consequences could deepen, affecting trade, tourism, and broader economic activity.